Ladies and gentlemen, Violent Games here. Just wanted to put out a new video for variety's sake. I know I've been posting a lot of Let's Play content. No one really gives a shit. So I wanted to put out another, just a little Ramble tangent video. I wanted to discuss a gaming topic with you. And today, that's going to be about how I was wrong about the PlayStation Pro. Now, upon the initial impression, everyone was bashing this machine, saying that it was such a marginal upgrade, that it wasn't going to be worth it at all, and that no one would notice it, especially if you had a 1080p display. I'm here to inform you that that is not true. While the upgrade is probably not as big as the Xbox One to the Xbox One X, I noticed the freaking difference, and I am actually very surprised to say so. I was under that impression, and I had every reason to believe that. But I guess as time progressed, more and more games were, benefiting from the PlayStation Pro. So let me just tell you about my honest consumer's report after owning a PlayStation 4 for years and now actually having the PlayStation Pro. So, if you guys don't know, like all the games I usually play or have been playing, I actually transitioned during that time, and I even went back to other games to kind of see how the Pro has enhanced those games. And it's actually quite noticeable. And I don't know why people are kind of playing this console down, saying that it's going to be such a marginal thing and most people aren't going to notice it. You will. You will. Just to throw out some examples, here's a big one. Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2... it, shouldn't have even been made on the PlayStation 4 when compared to the Pro version. It almost feels like the game doesn't run properly on the regular PlayStation 4. You have massive frame rate dips compared to a very solid 30 that never dips even when you smash glass tables, even when you fight big mobs. The frame rate does not tear up at all. And even when you use some of the more demanding supernatural powers, the Pro actually holds itself up, whereas the PlayStation 4 has not. Not only that, but you actually have a texture quality increase. While this is definitely a little less noticeable, it's still there. But the biggest thing that I notice in most of my games that are upgraded by the PlayStation Pro is that the lighting is significantly better, and it does make these games look rather gorgeous. Again, Dishonored 2 should not even be played on the PlayStation 4 in comparison. Another game that has a significant increase on the PlayStation Pro versus its PlayStation 4 counterpart would be Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, Rise of the Tomb Raider has a variety of Pro options, and this is the best example, and I hope more games adopt this practice. It not only has a 4K upscaling, which I don't use because I don't have a 4K display, but you can also turn it to a high frame rate. High frame rate makes this game play at 60 frames per second instead of 30. And my god, guys, it's so much better to play Rise of the Tomb Raider with high frame rate on, simply due to the fact that it makes the combat buttery smooth. You can pull off nasty headshots with 60 frames per second versus 30. And it makes the game feel so much better than Uncharted as far as its combat engine. So, having a higher frame rate, I wish our console makers would focus on that instead of trying to make these 4K visuals. Again, I can't stress that enough. That's a video of itself. I might bitch about that. I'm very vehement over graphics, frame rate versus texture quality. Anyhow. And then finally, another game by Arcane Studios. I really like the Arcane Studios games, guys. You know I do. Is Prey. Prey suffered from massive loading time errors from the PlayStation 4 version. Like, you would have to pick up reading or whittling between the load times of this game. Because, oh my gosh, guys, the load times for Prey were so abysmal. I would literally do reps of push-ups between loading screens in that game, and it gets really bad when near the end of the game where you're forced to backtrack to have to sit through these fucking abysmal loading screens. And the Pro does cut it down a bit, which is really, really nice. So, again, PlayStation Pro, you kind of proved me wrong in a lot of instances, and I'm glad to say so. Now, another thing. If you have a 4K display, it's nice to have a Pro, but it's not necessary to benefit from owning a Pro. And the PlayStation 4 is just kind of weak sauce, and I feel like as games right now are getting way, way more graphic intensive, having one of these upgraded consoles might not be the worst thing for you. So I guess in order to top this all off, what are my final thoughts on the PlayStation Pro? Well, it's not necessary to own one per se. You can still have access to all the awesome games that PlayStation offers you without it. That is true. And some games ultimately don't really benefit enough to warrant the purchase. So for example, early on in the PlayStation Pro's life cycle, you have games like Uncharted 4. I plugged in Uncharted 4 just to see what it's like, and yes, it is such a marginal upgrade, it doesn't mean shit. And there are some other games that are a bit earlier on that don't benefit at all just simply due to the fact that they weren't programmed for the Pro. But let me tell you guys, as someone who's played a lot of these games and have suffered through them, the Pro versions are just better. They just are. And I feel like the PC master race that runs YouTube is giving it negative press unfairly because they have these beast machines that run things so well that they just think it's an insult that it's a marginal upgrade. But to be real, guys, PC gaming is absurdly expensive, and it's not getting any cheaper due to the whole graphics card mining that people are doing for bitcoins or some shit. I don't know everything about that, but graphics cards right now are retarded, basically. So there's that. So a lot of people are stuck with consoles, and I feel like console community are just being ignored. And I'm here to tell you guys that the PS Pro has actually been kind of wonderful. Some kind of wonderful. So this is just my one man's opinion, of course. If you have a contrary opinion, or if you think the console isn't worth it, you let me know. I actually think it's kind of worth it if you're a console enthusiast especially, and if you spend most of your time on the PlayStation. It's not a bad idea to maybe invest in this one if you're, again, an enthusiast. But if you're dirt poor and you can hardly afford games, of course don't upgrade your console. And I would only really recommend upgrading if your PlayStation 4 is starting to act up. Maybe if there are some ports that are going wrong, or if the disc eject shit is happening to you too, then it's probably time you upgraded to the Pro out of a necessity. And it's not going to burn you as much as you would think. The Pro actually offers a decent upgrade. It's a noticeable one. Again, regardless if you're on a 4K display or a 1080p display. I play on a 1080p display, and I notice it actually quite a lot. Mostly it's more of lighting and stuff, but again, it's prettier, it runs more consistently, and PlayStation as an entity, they're putting out good games. Games that you want to play. Like the Shadow of the Colossus remake and God of War is coming up. And hey, Spider-Man looks sick. And if you're going to get upgraded versions of those games, that could definitely swing someone towards the PlayStation Pro, maybe upgrading or purchasing it for the first time. Definitely worth considering. I'm having a blast, guys. Anyways, this is Violent Games signing off. I hope you enjoyed the video, Ramble Tangent. I hope I didn't reiterate things too much. I tend to do that when I ramble. I like to reiterate, but that's just me. Have a good one, guys, and enjoy gaming. It's really good right now. Again, if 2018 is a bad year, 2017 has enough games to make up for it. There's no way you played all the good games in 2017, guys. There's no way in hell. So have fun out there. There's so many good games, man. I'm having a goddamn blast out here.